Welcome to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. She Speaks to Inspire is an empowering public speaking podcast for women with public speaking fear. Unlike other podcasts on public speaking, She Speaks to Inspire not only gives you tips to be a confident communicator under pressure, but also helps you regulate your nervous system for less anxiety, learn lifestyle practices to reduce burnout and overwhelm, and reconnect with your feminine leadership presence for more authenticity and comfort in your skin. I believe it's the quiet ones, especially the quiet women, who have the most important ideas. I believe the world really does need your voice. So let's dive in. I want to talk to you today about something that I hear from women every single day. From about 75% of the women that I talk to about their public speaking fear, they say this. So you very likely are going to relate to this. Have you ever noticed that you're comfortable one-on-one speaking with someone? You're fine one-on-one. Or even in a very small group, like 2-3 people. But when that group becomes whatever number it is that starts to trigger you, which might be 2, 3, 4, 10, 50, 100, whatever that number is, when that group becomes bigger, that triggers your freak out, nerves, and anxiety. Are you relating to this? Well, I'm so glad that you're here so we can dive into this topic because it's super common around the professional women that I talk to. And it's also very common in introverts in general. We're going to talk about that more today. Maybe you feel comfortable and at ease when you're one-on-one with somebody. Your guard gets let down. Your expertise comes forward. You come across really credible, confident, put together, flowing, articulate. You can think clearly. You feel connected to this other person. There's a flow of conversation back and forth. There's a lot less pressure. But when there's more people, it's the opposite of all those things. All the eyes in the room are on you. The air gets thick with pressure. The feeling of expectation and potential for judgment. You tend to blank out and freeze. Can't find your thoughts. Even though you know your subject matter, you're not able to form a coherent thought and get it out of your mouth. It's mind-boggling and so frustrating. I totally get it. Let's break this down a little bit so you can understand why this is happening to you. And then we'll talk about some possible solutions that could help you have a better experience on the inside of when you're speaking to bigger groups and, of course, be more effective with your speaking in these higher stakes speaking moments. What's happening when you see all those eyes on you is that your primal brain perceives those eyes as a threat. This is a survival mechanism. It's unconscious. And like I said, it's very primal. Your primal brain is at the base of your skull, at the top of your spinal column. It's the part of our brain that's connected to our sense of safety. Think of any wild animal, a gazelle out in the African savanna. The gazelle doesn't have a frontal cortex brain like we do. They have a primal brain that's trying to establish safety at all times. So when a gazelle perceives a threat, that they see a tiger or a lion nearby getting ready to pounce, the gazelle sends a signal through the primal brain, through the nervous system, for the body to respond in a way that will take the animal to safety. Step number 1, can I fight against this predator? Well, it's a lion, so no, I can't fight against this predator. Well, can I run? Can I flee the situation? Well, that's a good choice. I'm a gazelle. I have long legs, right? So I'm going to run. The lion is getting closer and closer and closer. What are my options for survival? Well, the primal brain is going to send the nervous system into freeze mode. The gazelle shuts down, lays down, the heart rate goes down, the breathing is barely perceptible, and the lion thinks the gazelle is dead. Why would a lion want to eat something that's already dead? And the gazelle is safe. This is the kind of primal response that I'm talking about in your brain. All those eyes turn to you. It's as if the tribe has turned against you, put you on trial. The predators are coming, and that instinctual part of you wants to fight, flee, and freeze. Put on top of this our conditioned perfectionism of needing to please others, needing to make sure everyone is happy and content. And there can also be an element of intimidation. Are there people in the room that you specifically want to impress or are afraid of their reaction? All of this conditioning adds to our feeling of not being safe in the environment. To go a little further, introverts, many studies show, are more comfortable with one-on-one communication in a seated, quiet environment. Say you're at a party and you're introverted. I relate to this. I would be more comfortable sitting on the couch next to someone having an in-depth conversation about our lives and something that's important to us, rather than standing up, milling around the party, moving from group to group, having light, fluffy, you could call it, conversation. Well, if you relate to that, then when it comes to public speaking, it also makes sense. You'd be more comfortable having a one-on-one meeting, seated, that with your manager, with your boss, with your colleague, with your client, more comfortable to sit down and chat. Let's talk this through. Less interruptions, more of a back and forth. You're able to look away when you need to reduce the feeling of pressure. So if you find yourself more comfortable with one-on-one conversations, first of all, you're not alone and it makes sense. But a good way to start approaching larger groups, larger audiences, when you do need to speak to larger audiences, is to think of it as a series of one-on-one conversations that's strung together. And a way to help yourself with that is when you're looking out at the audience, whether that's in person or virtual, really try to make eye contact with someone at all times, almost 100% of the time. Let's say 97% of the time. This will encourage you to get out of your head, to get out of yourself, and be focused on connection. That's what you like to feel when you're one-on-one with somebody, right? That connection, that more personal communication. Well, when you're with a group, it is just a group of individuals that you're having a conversation with. So if you can connect with one person at a time, really look at them, connect with them. And after a few seconds, maybe, we don't need to get technical about it. It could be 10 seconds or so. You're going to move on to the next person and have a one-on-one conversation with them. A series of one-on-one conversations strung together through your eye contact and through your intention to connect. In order to do this effectively, you're definitely going to need some nervous system regulation techniques. I talk about this a lot in all of my podcast episodes, so I'm not going to go into it in depth here. I would recommend that you also watch my masterclass at speaktoinspire.com to learn more about nervous system regulation. But this is the process of you noticing the psychosomatic symptoms that happen in your body, like sweating, shaking, fidgeting, rambling, blanking out, etc. And knowing how to calm yourself on purpose, to have a relationship with your body, your nervous system, your primal brain that's empowering so that you can create a feeling of safety within yourself. Even if the environment, it doesn't feel safe because there's all these eyes looking at you, you can choose to create safety within yourself. This is powerful. Once you have this, you can take on the world. I hope this was helpful to reframe your relationship to larger groups, larger audiences. Even if you're more introverted, more shy, more quiet, you can be a successful and effective public speaker to larger groups. It's 100% possible. And like we talked about today, all you have to do is use your strength for one-on-one communication and master regulating your own nervous system to really internalize a sense of safety, even in those large group situations. The world needs your voice. Go out and speak to inspire to as many people as possible. Thanks for listening. This has been She Speaks to Inspire with Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. I'm so glad you joined me. And I hope you got so much out of this episode. If you want to learn more about Speak to Inspire training programs and get inspired, head over to speaktoinspire.com or follow us on Instagram at She Speaks to Inspire. Never forget, the world needs your voice, and it's time for you to speak to inspire. See you in the next episode.